By the end of this video, you'll have increased awareness about the interactions that you have with your partner and whether these interactions, the way that you're communicating, is actually serving to enhance your relationship or whether it's actually damaging your relationship. I'm Natasha from Travel and Tash, and today I'm talking about using laughter to enrich your relationship. I think that oftentimes when it comes to relationships, we think of the more complicated aspects of how to enhance our relationship and how to manage it and make sure that it stays fresh and exciting. But I think that sometimes it's the simplest things that we incorporate on a regular basis that help our relationship the most. And one of those is laughter. Now, this is one of the concepts that I talk about in my book, Relationships 18 Principles to Attract and Retain a Fulfilling Relationship. In my book, this is actually Principle 13. And in it, I essentially discuss how laughter is a really critical thing to incorporate in our relationships to bond closely with your partner, but it also serves to do other things, and so that's essentially what I want to elaborate on today in this video. I think that jokes is something that we use subconsciously to impart information to others, and we do it to have a positive communication experience. We find a funny element in it and we deliver it in a really fun way. But interestingly, by doing so, by using a humorous way to communicate something, we're producing positive reactions, not only in ourselves, because oftentimes when we smile, even when we smile at our own jokes or the silly or funny things that we say, oftentimes people mimic. So, like, for example, if I smile, oftentimes that's mimicked or reflected in the person that I'm actually speaking to. And the action itself of smiling is interesting, because when we use our facial muscles, when we spread our lips and we produce a smile, this sends messages to our brain that we feel happy. And interestingly enough, we trick our brain into actually believing that we are happy and that we have that happy feeling at that moment. And so when we impart that to somebody else, and they mirror us, which is frequently what happens, we're actually producing a good feeling in them right away. Now, smiling and happiness is also a very, very good way to de-escalate tension, particularly in a confrontation with your partner. And I'm not talking about antagonizing them by smiling like, like the minute that they're really, really frustrated or angry. I'm not talking about antagonistic ways to make your partner believe that you're not serious about what it is that they're talking about. But what I'm saying is that you can use laughter to try and make a situation less stressful than it needs to be by laughing at a situation together with your partner, or finding some kind of humorous way to look at the situation so that you can laugh at it together, so that you can produce some kind of giggle together. Because when you do that, suddenly the problem becomes your mutual problem rather than a problem of me versus you or something like that. It's no longer a battle between two separate parties, when you can actually try and bring a unified front to a particular problem. And one way to do that is to share a fun experience, even in the middle of what could be a challenging conversation with your partner. And so overall, by doing this, by practicing self-awareness when it comes to using laughter to reduce the stress of a confrontation, you're improving your communication skills, not just with your partner, but your communication skills in general. But overall, this will begin to strengthen your relationship bonds with your partner, because shared experiences of happiness during confrontational periods, when you do that repeatedly again and again and again, it begins to reduce the stress and the impact of potentially negative communication experiences. And the way to start beginning to do this is to actually incorporate laughter and humor on a regular basis in your relationship. And that begins with just enjoying experiences together and seeing the light-hearted side of things. And that makes it easier to then bring humor into a confrontational situation. And I mean, this is something that I personally do in my relationship too. Is I joke with my partner all the time. We're both quite sarcastic, and we have a very similar sense of humor, and in that way we're actually very lucky. But a joyful banter that is repeatedly happening, or frequently happening in your relationship, is very, very healthy, and I highly recommend thinking about this topic in terms of how you can improve your experiences more frequently with your partner by just introducing that self-awareness when it comes to how beneficial it can be to enjoy happy moments or laughter with your partner. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to put a link in below to my book so you can find it on Amazon. And I'll attach some of my social media so that you can find me elsewhere. Thanks so much for watching. Hit the like button if you like my video. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.